Okay.
Yeah, hello. Welcome,
Yeah.
viewers. Welcome to your program, Motherland Online, your media platform where we bring to you issues affecting the motherland from the diaspora perspective. Today on the program, we'll be looking at the state of the nation of the Nigerian state. And to do justice to that, we have a very competent guest with us today who will be diverging and dissecting the issue with us. Today on the program, let's welcome Mr. Ridwan Idowu Taylor. He's a public analyst stationed in Toronto, Canada. Mr. Ridwan, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the program. It's my pleasure being here.
Yeah, basically, the first thing I try to do on this program is to get your perception on the state of the nation, the Nigerian state. Just about a year ago, Nigeria went to the polls and elected a new government who promised them a renewed hope as a manifesto. So far, so good. What's your take about the developments in Nigeria?
Well, um, currently the scorecard is not really looking well as much as the current ruling party is trying to make everything look like they are actually working or doing what they promise Nigerians. From different quarters, we have heard people say it's too early to to begin to judge them or to pass comment on what they promised Nigerians. But currently, the scorecard is not really looking well because from this perspective, during the march to the polls to the 2023 general elections, our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said nobody should pity him. He applied for the job and he has to deliver on the job. So currently, I would say it's the scorecard is not looking good. The scorecard is not looking good. I would have expected them to have analyzed the past government of retired Major General Muhammadu Buhari uh, for the fact that they are from the same political party should give them access to everything they need to know, and they should have hit the ground running from the first day. So at this particular point and at this juncture that we are now, I can't score the current government high. It's low on my side. We can do better if they intend to do better. So
On
that's
a scale of 1 to 10, what will you give them?
I will give them 3.
3 again. I have a
Yes,
test. I have a test on the studio like 2 days ago, and the same thing gave them. He said he even said he was generous.
yes.
Generously, he will give them 3. Being
Yeah,
generous.
I'm being generous, to say 3, because if you look at, it's also sad that we have a nation that is blessed with human resources, that is blessed with natural resources, tapped and yet untapped, known and yet unknown, and still we are in this condition. What do majority of us in diaspora, we understand the system, we understand how it works, and we know for a fact that most of the countries in the West do not really have a quota of what Nigerian has, both in human capital, both in natural resources, both in wealth. So it saddens everybody's heart to see the situation that we are in. So I'm just being generous to say, okay, maybe by in few days it's going to be 1 year that the current government is being sworn in. So maybe there will be some changes, but from all indications, I think it's the same status quo that we are. So I'm just being generous to have given that three.
Another generous perception. Basically, now let's dive into the issue. On the inauguration day, May 29th to be precise, when the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration came on board, the first policy was
Announcement.
policy announcement was the removal of subsidy. A whole lot of people felt that was very, very ill time. And before, let's take a critical appraisal of their policy one by one since inception. The first thing was the removal of the subsidy. The second one was the floating of the currency. How has this affected positively or negatively the Nigerian economy? Because
Well,
presently, when we look at the economic indices, when we look at inflation, all the inflation, poverty index, unemployment, and everything seems to be nosediving. What will you say about this policy so far?
let me take it first from the subsidy removal. For a government, like I started, for a government that is continuous, but there's no excuse for anybody to say, oh, this government is new. No, this government is not new. This is APC, and APC has been in government for as far as I know since the last going to 9 years now. So there should be some kind of continuity in governance. So I would have expected the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to have made that announcement by virtue of understanding what are the indices that this is going to bring about, what are going to be the adverse effects of pronouncing the removal of subsidy from the first day that he hits the ground running. So far, I would say it has been more of negative than positive. I would have expected when you roll out such policy, there should be a backup plan on how to ensure that people do not really feel the effect of you removing this fuel subsidy by consulting with trade unions, by consulting with labor people, by consulting with civil servants, and consulting with government officials that will give you the required details of on how to suppress whatever hardship that is going to be a counter reaction of removal of the subsidy. So I think that pronouncement is not a bad idea because the three major contender in the last general election equally said they were going to remove fuel subsidy. Maybe neither of them would have removed it from the first day. But for this very particular government, that is a continuous government, I expected more in analyzing the situation, in meeting with people, meeting with key stakeholders to know the adverse effect of pronouncing such policy as effective immediately. So up until now, people are still, fuel affects everything in Nigeria. Even those that does not have anything to do with fuel will always say, oh, the cost of fuel is high now. So whether they have the stock in-house or they are just getting the stock, everybody just want to take advantage of the situation as regards anything concerning gas. So I would have expected a better analysis of the past government to know where are we, where should we step in? Is this going to be okay for us to announce this? What are we going to put forward to suppress whatever hardship that will be coming after the pronouncement of this policy? None of that was done. It got to a point that people were asking for succor on how are they going to survive. It got to a point that so many state governments begin to subsidize transportation fee and every other thing. You understand? So the adverse effect is still there till today. So, which tells us one thing, that the policy was, like I usually say, I think this government is more about focused on uh, the populace saying, oh, they are trying, they are doing well, rather than really implementing policies. If you want us to change things, if you want things to change, fine. We know policies will come. There will be a lot of or little hardship that's going to come with any change that is coming, except we want to tell ourselves lies. So if any policy is coming, there's going to be little change, but not suffering. It should not be suffering. Little change, it's okay if the situation is well analyzed. But to what everybody is saying, to what has been transpiring between the general populace, the government, and the people in government themselves, it is all negative for now.
Nigerians are asking some questions because I could remember immediately after announcing the end of the subsidy regime, we were told that World Bank and IMF were ready to give the Nigerian government $50 billion as palliative. And up to today, the palliative coming from the federal government seems to be audio. We just hear about it and we're not really seeing anything really happening.
Substantial, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, it's so very funny that our government, people in government generally, from years past up until this very government, everybody is always shying away from accountability. And this is part of the problem that we are having as a nation. If everybody sees being accountable as insult, or being accountable, you will notice there's a trend with our political office holders and even civil servants. Once anybody is calling them to be accountable, at least just be accountable to the people, they begin to, defend rather than explain the issues and addressing the issues. So, and this is what the